This is the Cascade Labs Sub-20 and I have been waiting for this case for so damn long. However, we have received this case actually last year, and the review about this case, or this case as a whole, was so important to me that I decided to put it aside and wait until I have more than just a few days to cover it. It's a very young company, like their first product, and it's a special product. It's not just like a random ass case that they threw onto the market, but there are many thoughts that have been put into this. So I decided to put it aside and give myself more than just a week to cover it. As in, do 3, maybe even 4 builds on camera, aside for the regular builds, and then write the review. Like, really go over the whole case, check every angle multiple times, just to have like a full picture. I'm kind of excited about this. Let's just take it out of the box and see what we got here. No, don't fall. Okay. A bunch of little pieces of styrofoam. That was easy to clean. Bunch of screws. Even more screws. So this is it. This is the Sub-20 from Cascade Labs. Now, as you can see, this is a small form factor. It's 22 liters. It's small. It's a small mini ITX or MATX case, and it's basically one giant mesh panel. There is nothing remotely closed off about this. And there are screws floating around. Why are there screws floating around in the case? And here are more screws. It's a very small case which consists of just these mesh panels, which are very nice. For the record, these magnets which are keeping the panels on are like really freaking strong. Why are there so many screws just flying in there? Because the back is closed, it's not like it opened up or anything. Those are all like power supply screws. Why is there like a second whole bag worth of screws just flying inside the case? What the hell? As you can see, every panel on this case is kept on using just magnets, and when one side sticks to the case and the other one... Oh no, I need to put it back now. And the other part is sticking to the panel. Now, I am not sure if I got here the like retail version or a production prototype or pre-production prototype, anything of that sort. And the reason I'm saying this is A, because of all of these screws. I have no clue why they are just flying in here. And because I believe all of these screws did quite some damage to the panels. Like, if you look closely, they did a few oopsies in my panel, which really sucks for me now, but that's how it is. And I will reach out to Cascade Labs to ask about this, because it has been quite some time since last talking to the guy behind it, so I don't fully remember everything, and it is possible that we got a production prototype, any prototype stuff here. Once you're done, it's really just an empty chassis. Does look kind of cool. As you can see, this is a very small case. However, you can fit a lot of stuff in here. Like, for example, you can choose between SFX or SFXL power supplies or fully fetched ADX power supplies, given that you will lose these sidewise mounted fans here. This was not smart. Not at all. I need to remove this in order to remove this. Whew, that was a mission. You can choose between the two types of power supplies, then depending on what you want to use it with. However, you will lose, of course, a bunch of stuff like the 2 fan mountings and potentially even a bit of GPU real estate. I need to check for the review how much exactly you will lose, but you will definitely lose something here. However, you have the choice, and you got the 2 brackets that are included with the case. Yeah, we got the regular ATX power supply bracket, the SFX power supply bracket, and I will definitely go with the SFX one because I want to slap in a big-ass GPU in here today. But let's get to the one feature, or one of the features I'm really looking forward to. You see here we have the motherboard plate, right? And what you can do now is unhook or unscrew 3 screws and move the whole thing to the back. or is it 4 screws? Sorry, correction. 5 screws, there you got it. And move the whole thing to the back, but by almost 2 centimeters, like a centimeter and a half for sure. So what you can do, you shouldn't go all the way back because at that point you have like no area for any cable management in the back. You just basically lose that. But if you don't need so much, or if you have like braided cables that can be in the front because they are beautiful by default, what you can do is create a lot of space here in the front by pushing everything back, and that is really freaking cool. And what you're also doing is moving this 120mm fan spot here with the whole thing to the back. Let's push this all the way to the front. Not sure if we want that or need that, but that way I have the cable real estate in the back. I guess for today, instead of talking about the case that I don't know that much about yet, let's just do a build, a first dive, and then see how we actually do in building inside this thing. Yeah, let's do that. For the platform, we are going AMD today. We are using a Ryzen 7600X, not for any particular reason other than that. And for no particular reason, but I wanted to stay on air cooling for once. I think for the next build we will try an AIO in the top because you can fit at least a 240 and 280 in the top. And I'm not sure if you can do a triple fan in the top, but that's maybe even a possibility. But I sincerely doubt that you are going to fit a 360 radiator in the top, but that's for the review. For today, we are going to stay on air and see how the case does just on air. And for this air-cooled system, we are going to install a Deepcool Assassin 4 because it is a damn beautiful cooler that will surely do amazing here today. Or at least I hope so. Well, I can definitely see who's in charge here now. Compared to an ITX motherboard, this thing is just gigantic. And what I just realized, because I have a bunch of Leon Leuni fans here on the side for this build here today, and I just realized that I do not need a back exhaust fan like at all, because the back fan here is so squished that it will just become the back fan. I just hope that it still fits, but it should fit. That's kind of cool. The CPU fan will just become the exhaust fan. That's nice. Now, I didn't forget about RAM, but we got a new package here from Asgard, and they make some beautiful RAM. Like, I don't think it's a quite new company, but they have been pushing their stuff really hard recently, and they contacted us about some of their RAM to install and use in a couple of builds, and of course I said yes. There is no glue, nowhere. Why is this not coming apart? Am I really struggling to open a box of RAM right now? Oh god, it's just so tight. You just need to pull like really hard. Come on. Okay, so this is their Bragi kit. They call it a piano key design, probably because of the color choice. And I really got to say, what they've been pushing onto the market recently looks kind of beautiful. And wow, idea by XM, designed by LD. The microfiber cloth to clean everything. Oh, okay, I need to focus on that. Okay, so you know how every manufacturer of RAM has these a beautiful RAM, but we will get to that, has like the sticker with serial number, sometimes like the capacity and speed and whatnot on there, and they're very often they will print on it warranty void if you remove it. Here you have nothing. There is nothing except for the RAM stick. And you got the same stickers, but like separately. So you can glue it on, but you do not need to. Which is new to me. I have not seen that. And wow, this is one package. And also something I have not seen before. Like you got this protection for the slot in the bottom. Something quite similar to what you see with GPUs. And here you got it on RAM, which, wow. Oh, my hands are definitely too big for that. And this will come in handy later today. Not bad. I really got to say I'm impressed here, but I'm also impressed with the speed because this is a 6800 megahertz DDR. No, don't remove that yet. Not removing that yet. This is a 6800 megahertz kit running at CL32, I believe. Yeah, CL32. So it's not bad at all. And I will definitely not install the stickers on these sticks of RAM because this is just too damn beautiful. Beautiful little DDR5 kit. On one side we got the ARGB strip, and on the other one we got a piece of black, which is, yeah, piano black, like the piano type of black. Okay, now I need to remove it. Yo, this is very chrome. Like, this reflects everything. This is beautiful. This is really beautiful. Like, as far as RAM unboxings go, this is by far like the best thing I have ever seen. Like, usually RAM, even like premium G-Skill RAM, just comes in a plastic box that you open and half the RAM will fall out. So this is really not bad. And what we got here is the 2-stick kit. So 2 x 16, 32 gigs, 6800 CL32. This is a good kit of RAM, and this will probably go at some point into my personal PC, but we will see about that. Now, before we slap any of this into this case, I really believe I need to pre-mount or pre-install, pre-connect the power cables. Maybe not the 24-pin, that doesn't really matter, but the 8-pin, the EPS one, I will never get it in once this is in here. And the power supply I have prepared is this Seasonic Focus, which is like 750 watts, and we are going to use an RTX 4080 for this, and paired with the 7600X, that should do just fine, but I really need to connect this before installing anything, otherwise forget that this will go in there. Okay, and I guess at this point we are basically ready to install the motherboard in here. And oh. You know why I now for sure know that this is a pre-production like review sample? I wanted to say because there are no spacers for the motherboard, but I do not believe that I need any. Because this can't be aluminum. I need to check something here. Oh damn, we might have quite the problem because I think the back fan is protruding too much to the back for it to be compatible. If I now remove this and it now fits, yep. I just found out that the back plate, or the plate where the motherboard is installed, that's aluminum probably, but we will find that out. No, it's not aluminum. It's not aluminum, but I'm definitely not supposed to install spacers. Otherwise, it might be pushed up. Am I supposed to just screw it straight in? Yeah, I kinda am. Was this really meant to be screwed in straight into the plate here? If I use like any spacer I have like lying around. Okay, so the case does not come with motherboard spacers. That's a new one for me. Thankfully I have a bunch of them just lying around, so that's not an issue, but that's really weird to get a case without any spacers if it is made out of, I suppose, steel. That's weird. Okay, I decided for myself, better be safe than sorry, and I decided to install a few spacers that I have lying around. Apparently, the whole thing is made out of steel, which means that, ignoring now the paint, which might be insulating, that the whole thing will carry like electricity, which would mean that I potentially fry everything if I don't use the spacers. So I decided to use some of them. For me, creates the question if that is really the way it was meant to be. Who would ship out a case that requires spacers, like motherboard spacers, without spacers? That seems weird to me, but I will figure that out later on for the review. And this here, let's remove this bracket. This is basically the MATX bracket, which I do not need, so let's remove this one here. Yeah, we already have half a build. So I guess the next step would be to install the power supply, and we need the mini ITX bracket, which is this one. And as far as I remember, I have multiple positions that I can use. Like, for example, this top one, right? No, not this top one. Oh yeah, I can install it either here on the side or in the front, right? Yes. So which one will I choose? Or can I install it in the bottom? Yeah, definitely not with the GPU that we are going to use. So let's do side, I guess. We have one mounting position, which is pretty much in the top of the case here, and that's basically it. Now, one thing that I do appreciate kinda is that this part is closed off, so it looks nicer than just being like open and half see-through, where you would just be seeing like the backside of the power supply, which isn't anything beautiful to look at. So I'm really fine with closing it off. Oh, I got one more screw here. Does this allow me to mount it in the top? No, it does not. So the SFX power supply is apparently side mounting only. And as you might have already seen, I need to pre-connect all the cables, otherwise I will never get them in later on. So let's do that quickly here, as well as reconnecting the 8-pin. And oh boy, it's not like the case is hard to work with. It's really not that. However, you do need to think about a few things while you are building, otherwise you will create a lot of issues. Like for example, I will never get this USB-C connector here in once I have the power supply installed. So that is another thing that I need to do. Okay, and now I can install the power supply, I guess. Whew. The whole thing kind of ended up being a bit harder than I expected, to be honest, but I think half of my issues here can be boiled down to I would have liked to see a manual beforehand. Just go quickly through it and, you know, just get a basic picture of what I'm looking at here. And because apparently there still isn't any manual, I couldn't find any, nor is there any included in the box or in this pre-production unit. I'm still not sure if it is one or not. But yeah, that created a bunch of issues for me here. Oh, fuck off. I won't get the power supply cable in while the whole thing is installed. Oh god. I can remove everything, connect it and reinstall everything. Okay, power supply in, motherboard in, cooler installed, and the only thing that I am kind of sad about is that the back fan won't fit. There's just no way. I measured it down, you got like 24, 23 millimeters, and this is a regular 25 millimeter fan, so no way of doing that. Sure, I could use that additional bracket, mount a P12 slim to it, but I won't do that. That's just too much of a hassle for very little gain here. And to be honest, we are talking 7600X and a Deepcool Assassin 4. This will work fine. So far so good. I would say the next step is GPU, but not so quickly because I still want to mount some fans. Now I can see that in the front I can mount at least two 120s without a problem, and in the bottom we are talking 2 or maybe even 3, and I would really like to see 3 because I have all of these new Lee & Lee TL fans here. And okay, we got an issue. The Lee & Lee TL fans are powered by a Lee & Lee controller, which requires a 6-pin PCIe to run. And the problem is I used every PCIe that I have for this power supply in order to power the RTX 4080 that we got. We have one connector left, like one PCIe connector left on the power supply. So in theory, if I find a spare cable that fits in there, it should work. I don't need a spare cable. I found the original one. Please fit. Please fit. I don't want to remove you again. Okay. Wow. That was great. That worked way better than I expected. Now, another thing that we need to do, which I won't enjoy like at all, is this shit show here. There are 4 cables, none of which are marked. I have no clue which cable does what. Okay, so this is for the power switch, and you can see that there is a ring all around. So we got at least 2 for the light and 2 for the power for the button itself. And I don't have a manual, so I have no clue. Right now, I got no clue. Maybe it says something somewhere. Okay. The power switch has a red and a black cable for the switch functionality and should be plugged into the right pin as for your motherboard. But you don't say which ones are which. I'm guessing that red is plus and black is minus. That makes sense, but you should really say that. Which means that if red and black are power, that means that the other 2 are for the LED. Yeah, it just says the power switch has a red and black cable for the switch functionality and should be plugged into the right pinouts for your motherboard, which in theory isn't a problem. So I know red and black, that's the switch, that's fine. And for the switch, it doesn't really even matter which one you put where. It's just a shortening thing which is happening, so it doesn't really matter. But the other two matter. That's LED. One of them is plus, the other one is minus, and it doesn't say anything. Usually when you got these connectors here for the pins, sometimes you have an arrow like stamped in them. So with the arrow you know which one is the plus, but here I just don't know. It doesn't say. And with this motherboard I don't have the... Once the GPU is in there, it's going to be really hard to reach the front I/O panel. And that just kind of sucks right now. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to power the whole thing. And I'm just going to try until I find the right combination. Yeah, okay. So, to note, black and white do power. I guess white is plus, but it doesn't really matter, you can switch them around. But black and white are the actual switch, and red and yellow are for the light, where the red one is plus and the yellow one is minus. If I can already give a huge piece of advice, instead of having 4 individual cables, which are ketchup and mustard and look awful, what would have been way better is like one of the connectors, which is like just 4. A 4-piece connector, because all of the pins that you're going to use are in a straight line, so you can have the connector just like, and then have all black cables, and then just orient it somehow with a plus and a minus so people know where it goes, and then you are fine. But this ketchup and mustard thing, that does look kind of awful, but it's going to stay like that because I can't really do anything about it. I will hide as much cable as possible in the back, but it's going to stay ketchup and mustard no matter what I do, or at least to some degree. Let's leave it like that. Okay, fan situation. So I could install a fan, 2 fans in the front, 2 or maybe 3 in the bottom, that would still work. And the top I could do another fan, but I think I will choose not to do it. Because this way will work just fine. Now the thing that I am not so happy about is that we are going to pump... it will be fine. We are going to do just intake fans and then use the central CPU fan to pump the air out in the back. And the rest will just dissipate in the top. That will do. Yeah, I don't really have another choice. Now for the fans, I would really like to see 3 fans in the bottom. Now I read through the, not manual, but like the product page, and there wasn't any mention about 3 fans in the bottom. However, this does really look like it would support 3 fans. So I'm kind of hopeful that this will work, but we need to see for ourselves. 1, 2, yeah, no way for a 3rd fan. A big ass nope. So 2 it's going to be, and I wanted to use these Lee fans because they got a monitor in the center. And that's beautiful. And that's going to be really cool. Does this look good? Like an all black design and then suddenly there is white in the bottom? Not really, doesn't it? We might have another problem here, because it's possible that the GPU won't fit. I am not sure right now. The GPU should fit. Like physically, there is space for it. I can't get it in right now. If I would remove the CPU cooler, that would fix my problem, but I really do not want to do that. Oh, have you seen that trick shot? I guess let's install the GPU now before I will never have the opportunity to do it again. This is like really tight because of the power supply cables. Okay, the GPU is in, so just let's screw it down and then let's forget about this one. Whew. Okay, I got the GPU in, which was a mission on its own, but it's in. Now the problem I'm facing is the GPU is so thick. Is it thick in this case? Anyway, it's so big that I won't fit regular fans in there. Sure, I can fit like Arctic P14, P12 Slims, that will work, but not regular ones. And even if I somehow manage to get them in, they will just start hitting the GPU fans because they are protruding. So I won't do that. It doesn't make any sense in this case. That being said, I'm facing the same problem in the front because the GPU is so long that I won't get any fan in there either. And there we are looking at 15, 14 millimeters. So no way that there is a fan going in there, maybe not even a slim one. The top position is still a possibility. The bottom one, forget about it. So for today, this also means that these here are not going to be used. Unfortunate, but that's how it is. And the only leftover fan spot that I do have is the one here. Yeah, and potentially the one here, but I don't want to use it, to be honest. Like I could do intake here, but I don't know, it feels kind of off. Or, no. I'm going to install a single Lian Li P28 in the front, and the reason I'm doing that and not any other fan is because A, this one is quite good, and it comes with a very regular PWM connector. Like you can ignore everything, like proprietary connector wise, which means that I also do not need that single PCIe cable here, and I can get rid of it, which will help me in the long run to somehow fit all the cables in here. Okay, one cable less to worry about, that's something good. And we can install this fan here in the front, route the cable here in the back, basically hiding it like this, and we will end up with a single intake fan. Yeah, I would have liked to see more intake fans. Fun fact, it's kind of hard to install the front fan because the magnets are pulling away the screw. Now let's somehow find a leftover fan header. And I think I know what I will do. I am kind of really happy that I did not do this case last year. Like, I think I got it by the end of November or something around that time. And I was so stressed out with everything else that was going on, and we had so many videos that needed to be done very, very quickly. And I'm so happy that I just left this aside because this is such a complicated case. It's really cool and all, and there are many things that I will want to talk about at some point in the review, but this is not easy. And even to say like what can fit in here, that's such a complicated topic. Okay, at this point the last step is just to give the GPU some power, which is going to be just as hard as everything else. I really need to get my hands on a SFX power supply that has the 12 volts high power connector by itself. Okay, how do I get this into there? I think there is no way to do it except to go like here from the bottom. Oh god. I'm kind of thankful right now that you won't be able to see that the connectors are all here. And they are not touching the fan, so it's alright, but oh god. Okay. I think we got it. I think so. Before we can even attempt to close this case, I need to somehow get rid of all of this, because here there is just going to be the panel sitting on top. So the good thing is I got the GPU in the bottom, so I can hide a lot just by squishing it here, but I don't want to damage the GPU. But this should do it. Oh, I should have routed these cables differently. I guess because these magnets are so freaking strong, I kind of hope that they will squeeze this down, but I'm not 100% sure that they really will. Oh damn, they will. Wow. Congrats on the magnets. Really good choice of magnets. The long one is the top one, I guess. God. This is the front one. And the last one would be the side one. This doesn't look even remotely right. Yeah, the magnets are shifting. Okay, I think now I got it. Yeah, looks like a finished build with a whole lot of horsepower. But let's boot this up, see if it still boots, and check the temps. Because I know the GPU will be just fine. It can suck it in from the bottom, that's not a problem. But the CPU, we have one intake fan. And let's just see. make all of this spin a lot slower. Whew, this whole thing was quite the wild ride. So generally the system works perfectly fine. I just did a quick CPU-Z stress test and it was running at 5.341 megahertz. So very much spec. I left the BIOS on default for everything except Expo, and everything seemed to be running exactly as advertised and as it was supposed to be. At that, with all the fans running at max speed, the two fans that we got in here, we saw the CPU hit a absolute maximum of 82.4 degrees C, which, considering a 7600X and its behavior, is a very good temperature, and I'm quite happy about it. So the system functions just fine. We could use this as a gaming PC, no problem there, or even do some work on it, despite the CPU not being perfect for that, but the system runs just fine. As for the build today, I gotta say, I think this was, as a whole, like the biggest shit show I ever filmed. I also gotta say, I went completely blind into this. This morning, I just read on the website of Cascade Lab what I can fit in here, and I just took a bunch of stuff out of the shelf and started to film. So I went pretty blind, no fact checking, no checking if things in combination do fit. So I wasn't prepared, which was the idea for a build like that. But I have to say it was a bit wilder than I expected, or given that we do this all the time, like filming without knowing if it really fits, this must be the wildest ride we had in a long time. So the case is really complicated. It's not an easy thing. You gotta know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and the actual goal, and there is so much to know. For now, it's fine. I will contact Cascade Labs again and talk with them about the state of the case. If this is a retail unit or if this is like a pre-production thing. If it is pre-production, everything's fine, but they really need a manual, or a very thought-through spec sheet. Like on the website it says what you can fit, like a fan here, a fan there, yeah sure, but there are so many ifs revolving anything around this case. If you use a GPU that is this long, the front fan is gone, the bottom fan is gone, and so on and so forth. So it's really not that easy, and I will try to combine every bit of information into like a final review where I have all of these ifs in place, but that's for another day. For today, I'm happy that the system runs just fine. I will disassemble it now, but it was a good first ride, using probably the most complicated case that I have seen in a long time, but it was fun. A bit complicated, but fun. So okay, I think for today this is going to be it, and yeah, I will get started working on the next build for this and for the review, because there is a lot of things to cover here, like really a lot. But hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.